Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm here with Cassie today. Don't adjust your sets. It's not Cheryl with a hair straight. It's all Cassie. Hi, Cassie. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
I'm so excited. I'm popping Cassie's live cherry today. She's like, I haven't done anything like this before. And like, yeah, another first, another tick, another notch.
First of many, hopefully.
Thank you for saying yes. I was really excited to speak to you because a lot of the time we speak to entrepreneurs and people who have businesses and stuff who've done work with us, done mind coding, and I wanted to speak to you because your path's been a little bit different, hasn't it? And you came to us sort of at a crossroads of, I don't want to go down this route for training, this route, your route, like what's the best thing? And I think what was lovely was when I said, like, how did you feel before you started the program? It was this kind of feel like in control, hustling, white knuckling kind of energy. So I just thought you are so inspiring. It's lovely to share with people just kind of what was going on, what's changed, what's shifted, and like how you feel now. Because I can talk about doing mindset work until the bloody cows come home, but I think actually people seeing the shift in someone literally in a few months from A to B is so powerful. So thank you for coming on and sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so talk to me a bit about like what was going on like in life in Cassie world, like back in, was it April when you first messaged me saying I'm thinking about doing mind coding?
Yeah, it was. So I had just come back to learning and development after 15 years away. I'd been about 6 months into role. I was probably at the stage where being 6 months in, I think I had a bit of imposter syndrome, was kind of thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Putting a lot of pressure on myself. I think with 15 years out of learning and development, coming back into it, I really wanted to prove to myself that I could, just be amazing, that I wanted to impress everybody around me. So I think I was just putting so much pressure on myself at that time. I had a chat with my amazing mentor who pointed me towards the both of you. And that's kind of how it all started, by reading your book and that having a real impact, starting to follow you, and then seeing this course advertised. I knew, I've always known that I would come back to, or I want to sort of be a coach sort of longer term. And so I knew I wanted to do some form of learning. I work in corporate, so at that time I had the opportunity to do a apprenticeship. So I was sort of weighing up whether I do an apprenticeship through work, and then this landed. And I read it. It sounded amazing, and it was trying to weigh up that head and heart decision of doing something through work that was paid for, or doing this thing that I read and kind of made my heart sing. And I think from the moment I heard probably hello on your voicemail, I knew I was sold, and I had all of the excitement and craziness, and I knew I just had to do it.
Oh, I love
where it all started.
You were like a full body yes person, weren't you? You were like, what do you think? And I'm like, and I'm always like, what's your heart saying? What's your body saying? And like, that was an easy heaven yes for you, wasn't it? When you dropped into that. But you know what you were talking about? I think, I love talking about imposter syndrome and that self-doubt, because I just think so many of our friends and clients and movement really resonate with that. So just take me back to when you were, like you said, you came back in L&D, obviously Cheryl and I work in L&D, and you come back in, you doubt yourself. Like, how was that imposter syndrome showing up for you, Cassie?
It was showing up to me through, I think, trying to control everything, feeling like it was all on me to deliver everything. I look after the academies where I work. So, there's a broad number of people to engage. And it just felt like everything had to go through me, which was quite a lot of pressure. I mean, I absolutely loved what I was doing. I just wanted to do it so well. So I think I was probably at the stage when I came to you of feeling a little bit burnt out. I'd kind of really worked myself into the ground. And it was just from that pressure of, wanting to please people, do a really good job, doing lots of prep for everything that I did. Probably, one of the realizations through the course is actually when I chill out and let everything flow with the people around me, it works so much better. So yeah, just trying to control the room, control the people, always, have my, just everything through me.
Everything's true. And we become our own bottleneck, don't we? Like it's still one of the symptoms of imposter syndrome that slaps me around the face regularly when left unchecked, like feeling like you have to do everything. And it's obviously from that fear, isn't it, of being caught out, of being found out, of people realizing that you shouldn't be in the job. So you just like trying to keep all of the pieces on the board where they should be, according to your map of the world and how you think things should look and should be behaving. And it's so exhausting, isn't it? It's like, it's just so mentally draining.
Yeah. And, you know, people around me were giving me such lovely feedback and I just couldn't hear it.
I just couldn't hear it. Oh, I love that. And you're so friggin' talented. This is the crazy thing. It's like, it's not coming from a place of not, it's some logical part of your head. Did you know you could do the elements of the job, but it's just the behavior was just in overdrive.
I think I knew I could. You just have that self-doubt at times.
Yeah.
So
interesting, isn't it? So talk to me a little bit about like how you started the program. You said heaven yes to it, you jumped in and you were so excited, and then like what were the moments in the program that you feel sort of like smack you upside the head where you're like, oh right, okay, this is where I've been going wrong? Or
yeah, or just I suppose to give just a tiny bit more context, so my son was just about to go to school. I'm very like quite steady with my friends and family, but there was so much going on within that arena at the time as well. So not only was I exhausted at work, but I was exhausted from my personal life too. So my mum has dementia. We had a lot of things going on trying to get her to, I suppose, accept that, to move forward. I had a lot of frustration about her not accepting it, her not making plans, her not having help, while I could see everything falling down. Other things going on as well. So, you know, there was so much going on relationship-wise as well as part of that context. And with my son going to school, I knew it was the time to start focusing on me. So kind of that overwhelm. So I think like one of the first things in terms of the boxes, so like some of the voice messages that you sent us really in the early days, that was the biggest slap in the face for me, one of those. And do you know what, Donna, I remembered this morning, I think somebody was saying, like, you know, try and take a recording of how you're feeling right now. And I'd completely forgotten that I'd done this. But there was a Voxer that you talked about, which led me to acceptance of my mum's situation.
It was about acceptance. We were talking about, well, I think like how, tell you what, give me 1 second. Alexa is bleeping in the background. Alexa, stop. There, she stopped. Hashtag real life, your washer timer, but it's going off in the other room. Oh, Alexa, stop.
Washer timer stopped on kitchen.
I'm like, I can hear something bleeping. I'm like, looking, I'm like, oh no, it's the washer timer. The new washing machine arrived today, so we're very excited to test the new washer.
I could start talking to her now, asking her to play some tunes.
So irritating. But yeah, we did. So in one of your bonuses, when you started the certification, we did, and so it is, didn't we? And I talked about how we create our own suffering by how we want something to be versus how it is. It's actually what we put ourselves in mental prison wanting something, and it's just not how it is. So then we can't enjoy how it is because we want it to be something different. And that really landed for you with your mum's dementia.
That was huge. When I listened to that, I am quite an emotional being, but I sobbed for about half an hour. Like the realization that I had at that moment was huge. And I think the learnings that I've taken from that have been so changing for me with my relationship with my mum, how we're dealing with dementia, how we're taking her forward, you know, my ability to cope, my relationship with her, my ability to see the joy and the gratitude. You know, it's not perfect, but it's so different from where I was. And that was sort of one of the first and probably long-lasting impacts for me. It was huge.
Yeah, I love that. That just gives me chills. It really does, because we've said this before, and it's great when people make more money or do businesses. But for me, those shifts that, you know, our relationship with our mums and the people that we love in our life, like they form such a huge part of whether or not we're happy. They do. They're such integral parts of us. So yes, I cried a tear when you shared that story. I'm not going to lie. That really meant a lot to me. So yes. So before it even started, the shifts were happening for you, which is amazing.
Yeah. And then it just layered on and layered on through the courses, when we talked about judgment, when we talked about, just so many things just layered on, and have just given me the tools to navigate just various things that have been happening in my life, with that, other relationship things that have come up, more personally, how I talk to my children. Like, there is just so much that just layers on. So yeah, it's been a real shift in so many ways.
I love that. What's different with the kids? Because I get asked this a lot. People will say, well, how will it help me with the children? Like, yes, I want it for the business and they're making money, but how does it help me with the kids exactly? Like, how would you describe that?
So for me, it's about being more present, and, the number of times, and I think you never use the word just, I'm just going to do this. So, I'm more present with my little boy, with my time with him, rather than trying to do other things, and then just more aware of the energy that I show up with, and being aware of what state that I'm in when you went through the states. So in terms of when you went through the states, I could see where I was in states that I shouldn't be, and how to move to a more positive parenting style in some of those instances that happened in my life. So it was really good.
We spend a lot of time, don't we, in the program in different modules, because it's like 12 core training modules on over the time, and talking about like how your emotional state, your mental state, your physical state, your spiritual state, how you're responsible actually for all of that. And so many of us have this belief, like we really believe that it's life knocking us out of the state, and we're constantly then in this reactionary state with life because of the car parking fine, or because of the hospital, or because of the rain, or because of the bills, or because of and we're constantly reacting, waiting for life to calm the fuck down so that we can be happy. And it's like this, I'll be happy when I eat this. And it just doesn't work like that, does it? In the program, a lot of it is about control, but it's about that you're actually the real thing you're in control of, which is you and your energy and how you're showing up for life and its assignments, which will keep coming. It's like we don't get a box from it, but we just have a different toolkit, and a different way of looking at it, don't we, once you've been through the program?
Yeah, I think I describe it as just being so much more intentional, intentional with my emotional state, with how I'm being, and more aware of what I'm taking from situations, that joy and gratitude, and just really appreciating stuff as well, taking time for that.
Oh, wow. How is it? Like, and again, it's such a big sentence. Like, I'm just more intentional, but that's the whole way of living, isn't it? It's a whole way of being, and it's kind of like something that we're teaching you throughout. But it's this beautiful byproduct by the time you get to the end. Like you said, if you've gone through the layers and layers and layers of just being more present and intentional. How does it now then manifest and show up when you're in work, for example, like where you would have had this imposter syndrome and need to control and do all the things? Like, how does it feel, and how has it shifted your results and things in work now, Cassie?
So I am calmer. I trust that when there's a big project, that you get so much done through other people. And I knew some of that, and I was doing some of that, but not to the extent that I am now. So not over preparing before meetings, throwing it over to the room, just actually going with the flow. My boss and her boss have both approached me and said, you just seem different. You just seem calmer. So yeah, they just said there's something, there's just this something about you now. So, I've kind of had that feedback. I have just chilled the fuck out, and it makes a difference.
It does, when we just chill the fuck out. You've got the whole spiritual glow thing going on. When it's just, I used to look at people who look like you do now and think, like, what, like, is it the hormones that they're taking? Is it a pill? Is it like, what is it? There's just like this inner glow and this inner confidence and this inside out, just kind of self-assurance and just, like you said, calmness. And I always remember when Cheryl and I very first started the business, and we sent some surveys out to like people who were the kind of women like you would have been one of them that we would like love to work with, who had, you know, on the outside looking at like the great careers, the lovely family, like look really confident. Like you will have looked confident before, and ask them what they want. And the interesting thing was that in all of the surveys that came back, it distilled down to two things: happiness and balance. That was what we're doing, all of this and creating all this chaos and the busyness and the controlling and the white and the to have happiness and balance. So we were creating, trying to create what we wanted through making ourselves unhappy and not balanced to then get happiness and balance. It's so funny, isn't it? And now that you understand the energetics of how it works, the mind of how it works, the spiritual element, you can see that we can never get to that through that, because they're literally opposite frequencies.
And do you know what? It not only has, I suppose, helped me for now, I feel clearer now for the future. And when I think about the future and, you know, longer term coaching business, everything else, like next month, I'm going to start coaching via the coaching network. So really excited to do that. But after that, I know, you know, longer term, I will have a coaching business, but I'm not worrying about it or putting pressure on myself. I am just present and just enjoying the now. Like I can't wait to get started and just enjoy the process. So it's kind of having that longer term view and not being, I suppose, panicked by it either or worried about how it's going to happen. So I think that's really nice too.
It's amazing. Well, it's that trust and faith, isn't it? Like you talked when we were chatting earlier this morning, you said it's like a knowing, like you just know it's going to work out, and you know it's working out in your highest and best, and it's all panning out exactly as it should be, which I love, because again, there's less need to white knuckle life and feel like you're battling with everything and that everything's a fight, when you're actually coming from the predisposed fundamental belief that everything's already working out for you.
Yeah, that's what gives me the calmness now, is just knowing the greater good, that things happen and they work out and nothing stays static. So when things are really bad, it's okay. I mean, just the being able to step up and see the strong woman that I am in certain situations has been amazing. Like, even though the situation was so hard, the learning from this has allowed me to see the strength that I have.
Oh, that makes me really emotional. Oh my God. It's like
I'm not going to start again. Like on the graduation, I think I sobbed like goodness knows what, which I totally wasn't expecting, by the way. Just like,
I came packing with tissues in both hands, didn't I, for the graduation? So Cassie's talking about on Tuesday night we had the graduation ceremony, didn't we? And everybody came, but Cassie showed up with the full, what do we call it? The
hat and gown.
Yeah, hat and gown, full cap and gown graduation. I've got the picture. You'll see it on my socials later when we're talking about Cassie. And I was just like, yes, girl, yes. I loved it. And I'm honestly thinking, when it's our graduation for my doctorate program in October, I feel like I might have to like follow suit and like go full. I can't go over to America for it, like, because the timings didn't work. But I'm like, I'm so going to be sat here with my hat on and everything now.
I can sort that out. That's fine.
I love it. So if somebody was coming up to you today who felt like you did, who, like you said, you're not joining it just to. Actually, one more question before that. When you're coaching now, and as a coach, how do you feel in yourself and in your coaching confidence and competency now?
Amazing. Like, I think just having the structure, you know, there are certain tools that I think give you a really good structure for any conversation, and then it's those tools that can deep dive for any situation that comes up. I think I just feel equipped. Just ready. ready. I love it. I can't wait to see what comes next. And you know, it's all happening in divine timing, and I just love seeing you being so present, so engaged, so switched on, and just enjoying life as it is right now. And even when we get leaks or whatever else happens, we're just like, so it is. It's all working out. And there are still moments. There still are, and you know, still things that I want to work on, and that's fine. Absolutely. But you know what? I look at this and I think, you know, why do we not teach children this? And I earlier on I thought, God, what could you imagine if we put you and Cheryl in front of all the world leaders? Could you imagine their conversations afterwards going, right, okay, so what should we do? Well, let me just think about their map of the world. Let me just as if it, which, I know I'm talking about tools that people might not know about, but I was just imagining some of that earlier on, and I was like,
can you imagine though? I mean, Donna and Cheryl are like total world domination, or at least helping the people in the world domination spaces. But we agree, like, and I try and teach Caleb a lot of what we do, obviously, and you can see how it sticks sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't when he loses a football match. Sometimes it's everything, but it is interesting, and I just think we passionately believe like everybody should have these tools. Like, they're not secret tools, and a lot of what we teach, it's wisdom from thousands of years. It's just got a bit of Donna and Cheryl salsa with it on the side.
I feel blessed. I feel blessed to be able to teach some of these lessons to my kids. I feel blessed to have those tools and to coach other people in doing this, which I know will make massive change. So I feel blessed and privileged to be in that situation.
Oh, well, thank you so much for just having that, like, head, heart, allowing yourself the space to say, this just feels right. I'm jumping in. I know it's aligned to me, and following your heart, because it has been such a joy. And I know this is just the beginning for us of a very long journey together. And I'm so excited. I'm so here for all of it. And it's great because we're keeping the practitioners, the graduates, in a group for further support to make sure that you guys are implementing and you have some space to come and ask questions the more you take your tools out into the world, which is just, like, again, an honor to do. So that's what I was going to say before. If someone was sitting now feeling like you felt, 4 or 5 months ago, feeling like, feeling close to, or feeling feelings of burnout and tiredness and white knuckling and controlling, like, how would you tell them that this program would help them? Or how would you advise them if they're thinking about doing something like this certification? What would you say to them?
I'd say just do it. Like, the tools that you learn give me a conscience to test against, to know that I'm doing the right thing in life. I just, these are just lessons that I think help with relationships, everyday work, being able to give service to others if that's what you want to do. Do it.
Do it, absolutely do it. Like, we want you to do it. Come on. And the class of 2024 is now graduated. The class enrolling now will be graduating in March next year, which is like super exciting. And we start mid-October. So I'm going to drop the link before I forget. And you guys can come and check it out. You can DM me or Cheryl or the team, ask us any questions. We, from the get-go, from you guys signing up, we want you to succeed. Like, this is something that we want you to graduate, because we want this work in the world. So we've set the program and the certification up to give you as much of that support and open learning, development, Q&A, like, as much as we can. And it's fun, isn't it? But the connections are just amazing as well on the cast. Like, you just meet the most incredible people.
Yeah, they totally are. And it's funny because I think even the bits that I want to work on, I'm seeing all these, these pages pop up from all the amazing ladies going, oh, right, so Danny, you do that. Yeah, I might be talking to you. And Wendy, I'm talking to on a Friday. Yeah, just amazing connections to have. There have been amazing ladies as part of this cohort. Amazing.
I love that. Well, Cassie and I and the rest of the graduates would love to be celebrating you with your cap and your gown and everything on come March. So if you're interested, let us know, jump in, and we've got some amazing bonuses for you as well. But for Cassie and I now, we're going to bid you a lovely day. I hope it's sunny where you are. I've got the fire on in the background, I've got the candles going. It's like a proper just wrap up and stay in day here. I love it. And the excuse is snuggled. Bye everyone, see you soon. Bye.